The Calblanque, Monte de las Cenizas and Peña del Águila Regional Park is a protected coastal area located at the eastern extreme of the region of Murcia's coastline. This natural environment is host to environments such as beaches, dunes, thickets, salt marshes, cliffs, forests, and even small towns. The park is a mosaic of habitats that provide shelter to a wide diversity of flora and fauna and allow the coexistence of animals with different ecological requirements. Within its limits, we can also find valuable examples of geological, archaeological, and cultural heritage. There are numerous attractions for the visitor, including numerous marked trails offering spectacular views overlooking the Mediterranean. The park contains indications of the existence of ancient nomadic people in settlements, such as those found at Cala de los Dentoles and Cueva de los Mejillones. The Romans also inhabited the area, extracting precious metals from the mountains, primarily zinc, lead, and silver. Mining was resumed in the 19th century, leaving the Sierra Minera dotted with derricks, kilns, mine heads, and wells that have changed the landscape profoundly. The early 20th century saw a boom in the extraction of salt from the Razal salt works, which today constitute an important wetland and are home to various important species of fauna, such as the Spanish tooth carp, a small endangered fish, and birds such as storks, shelducks, and Audouin gulls. Sandpipers, plovers, and other shorebirds tirelessly pace the banks of the salt ponds in search of crustaceans and mollusks. In the surroundings of the Razal salt lakes, we find flora that has adapted to life in conditions of high salinity, such as shrubby sea blight, saltwort, and sea lettuce. The salt marshes and reed beds are home to birds such as the Zitting cisticola and mammals such as the Algerian hedgehog. Other unique elements to be found within this landscape are the casas cúbicas, cubic houses, simple rural buildings that were used by farmers, shepherds, sailors, miners, and workers from the salt industry. The shaded slopes of the highest mountains in the park are covered with forests. They consist mainly of Aleppo pines, although they also host the only European populations of the sandarak, a tree of North African origin. It is also surprising that we should find holm oak in the region, a relict formation which speaks of a wetter climate in the past. The forests are home to many birds, such as the long-tailed tit, chickadees, and woodpeckers. And among the clearings in the pine forests, we find various species of orchids. The slopes of the mountains are colonized by dense scrub formations, the preferred areas for animals such as rabbits, foxes, partridges, and various reptiles such as the large psamodramus and the ocellated lizard. On the unforested shaded slopes, the Spanish dwarf pine stands out as the characteristic species, accompanied by mastic and Jara de Cartagena, Cistus heterophyllus, present in the form of a very small endemic and thus extremely threatened population. The sunny slopes host silkvine and esparto, dotted with aromatic plants such as lavender, thyme, and rosemary, which in turn attract small birds such as stonechats, crested larks, warblers, and redstarts. The scrub formations are often home to the kestrel, which remains suspended in the air as it awaits the sighting of its prey, primarily voles, which it attacks in a sweeping lunge. The noisy colonies of colorful bee-eaters flit through the ravines during the spring and summer in search of insects, building their nests in tunnels which they dig in the ravine's earthy banks. The areas nearest to the sea are home to a peculiar vegetation adapted to the extremely harsh environmental conditions. The rocky cliffs are colonized by Margarita de Mar, Paenis maritima, sea lettuce, and sea fennel. This area is also home to the black wheat ear, a bird which is easily distinguished by its black plumage and white tail. Cliffs and crags are home to one of the park's most emblematic species, the Borelli's eagle, an endangered raptor which finds the ideal place to breed among the peace of the most inaccessible locations. Other birds of prey include the peregrine falcon, which specializes in hunting its prey in mid-air. One of the most representative plants is the sea lily with its beautiful white flowers. An extraordinary diversity of invertebrates is distributed throughout all of the park's habitats. Special mention may be made of a small crustacean called Artemia salina, which is found in the salt lakes. Spiders, beetles and butterflies can be observed in every corner of this natural space. Many of the species that live there suffer some kind of threat, and as such the park represents an essential space for their survival. Thus, it is essential that we all contribute to the preservation of this exceptional space, one of the most valuable and emblematic in the region of Murcia.